Well, happy Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight. Of course, if you're watching on the website, streaming on the website, ktalnews.com. If you're watching there, the comments coming from my Facebook page, Todd Warren Weather. So if you have a question you want answered, try to ask there. That's how I'm communicating with everyone. Coming up tonight, going to be talking storms. Obviously, we have several rounds of potential severe weather on the way, the first of which will be tomorrow. Some risk on Thursday and Friday, and perhaps for the day that more of the Arctic could be impacted by severe weather could actually turn out to be Saturday, and that is when some of us will see some of our heaviest rain. The details, going to take a deep dive into what futurecast is showing for tomorrow and Thursday. Kind of touch on basically the rainfall aspect of things, where it's going to be heaviest, and I did write an article which kind of touched on the area lakes and rivers, kind of gave my opinion on how that could play out as well. So if you want that opinion, you can go there. I may try to touch on that as well. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. Got a lot to cover tonight, so let's quickly go through our traditional hellos. See who's tuning in tonight. First on board, big list tonight. Bonnie, or I should say Brian. Hello. Betty, greetings. Gary, hi. There's Bonnie. Hello there, Bonnie. I saw your name. Christy, hello. Marnita, greetings to you. Lewis and Michelle. Off and on could be kind of rough, Michelle. You'll see the details here in a second. Aaron, hello. Rusty, good evening to you. And Jane, thanks for watching. Looks like Paige has dropped in. You're quite welcome, Paige. And let's get going here and show you what we have seen today. Lots of clouds made their way back into the area today, as temperatures did make it into the upper 70s to low 80s. Just a quick update on the high. 79 officially the high in Texarkana. 81 the warm spots today in both Longview as well as in Shreveport. The rest of the Arctic stayed in the mid to upper 70s. Okay, here's the setup. We have a lot of moisture working its way northward from the Gulf, and a big trough here over the northern Rockies, and these little disturbances are going to be rotating around the base of this trough, giving us the occasional round of thunderstorms across the area. Round 1 tomorrow, round 2 Thursday, round 3 sometime late Friday, round 4 a little bit earlier Saturday. So that's the timing of things right now, and I'm going to kind of go deeper into tomorrow and Thursday with futurecast. Do have the newest run of the Ace Triple R coming in. Let me get that set up so that I can show you that as well. It's up to hour 33, so it is going to cover tomorrow's storms, and I'm just looking at this for the first time. Doesn't look like it has changed that much. I'm kind of curious as to what it's going to do for Thursday, because futurecast is relatively benign compared to some of the other high-res models on how things could play out Thursday afternoon. And of course, I'll try to stall out long enough to where this the Ace Triple R can finish, and I'll show you the aspect that it is showing as far, especially the tornado threat. All right, let's move on here and show you the fronts and the rain and snow, as you can see from futurecast on the national scale. We'll be watching that front, which is going to kind of flirt with the Arctic. It is going to stall and move back to the north, so we're not going to see any type of cool down, unfortunately. But with that front to our north, that's where potentially the stronger storms likely will be, especially as we go into Thursday and Friday. And then we will see a push. Unfortunately, this is only going to go out, I believe, to Saturday morning. We will see a final push and a cold front move through the Arctic sometime on Saturday. Here we are Friday. You can see the front still lollygagging off to the north and west of us. And as we move into Saturday morning, you can see that low moving across north central Texas Saturday morning. That's what's going to move to the northeast, and the colder air is going to sweep in behind the trailing cold front. So that's where it looks like the front could be by 7 a.m. And you can see how it does. We start to see that push of the colder air towards Dallas by noon on Saturday. All right, let's take the dive into tomorrow. Before I do that, this is going to be rather long, so I want to see who else has chimed in here. Let's see. Sue, hello. Christy in Atlanta, greetings. Sarah, hello there in Brooklyn. I'll try to get to your stuff tonight, Sarah. Got a lot on the docket. Red, hello. Sarah says it was cold in Brooklyn today. Glenda, it looks like tomorrow the worst will be to your east, and you'll see the details on that here in a second. Let's see. Hello there, Michael. You're quite welcome, Mary. Thanks for watching. And Willie and Annette. What times is the rain supposed to start? Depends on where you are. And you'll see the answer to that here in a second. And hello there, Eric, in Colbert, Oklahoma, where it's 73. Okay, here is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see that we are in the enhanced risk area for most of the Arklatex, especially from I-20 and points north. The threat of severe weather much lower as you move south of I-20. Notice the somewhat rare moderate risk here along the Mississippi and lower Ohio valleys. That is what I kind of pointed out last night as the location where we might see some red on this map. And it does look like all severe weather threats will be possible. Thing about tomorrow, even before the storms get here, it's going to be windy. The HRRR showing that we could see gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour tomorrow, non-thunderstorm wind gusts. So obviously thunderstorm wind gusts of 40 to 60 will be possible. And of course the hail and the tornadoes. Here is a look at tonight and tomorrow. And when we get to tomorrow, it's going to loop during the afternoon. So you can see tonight, lots of clouds. We could see a few showers sneak their way into McCurtain County very late tonight. Those should not cause any issues, and probably we'll see a weakening during the morning. And then here we go in the afternoon. You can see the increase in the thunderstorm strength and numbers along that line, which will be somewhere between Texarkana and Shreveport. So if you're northwest of that line, and if futurecast is correct, it looks like your rain chances may be a bit lower. But you can see this has been very consistent with futurecast and other models here all day today, and this run is no exception. And you can see that the storms will probably begin to peak, develop, I should say, mid-afternoon, reach their peak during the early evening, and then move out of the Arklatex here as we move towards, say, 9, 10 o'clock. That's what the timing from futurecast is showing. So that's a look at the timing. And you can see that we will be relatively quiet tomorrow night across the area. Rotation potential, futurecast has been, this is again very similar to what it has been showing. And I kind of pointed this out during the newscast here. If you draw the Arkansas, or I should say Louisiana, Texas line here up due north and I-20 east-west, in this area here is where the most models showing the best chance of maybe seeing a few tornadoes will be tomorrow. And again, that's going to be last half of the afternoon and during the evening hours, especially early evening hours. And by far, the more widespread tornado threat will be up towards Memphis. As you can see, the numbers of those swaths a bit higher in that part of the country. Hail is also going to be an issue. And when you look at this product, anytime you see black or gray, we do typically get larger than quarters. So we do have the potential of seeing some rather large hail. Ironically, I say that the HRRR not showing much thus far doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. We'll have the ingredients there to make some very large hail in the area as well. And you can see the location of that, if futurecast is correct, between I-20 and I-30 in southwest Arkansas and northwest Louisiana. So that's tomorrow, timing and what to expect. Here's a look at Thursday. Notice it's a slight risk, that's level 2 for most of the area. And you can kind of see where the numbers of the stronger storms in this wider graphic are higher central Arkansas up into Kentucky and the Ohio Valley. All right. And that being said, I think tomorrow's risk here is probably going to be higher than what it will be on Thursday. So that being said, let's get to the details on the timing. This is just going to be a loop from Thursday afternoon through the evening. And you can see not a whole lot of red and purple in this loop from futurecast. And this is very similar to the other two runs that went out far enough on Thursday to see this activity. So not much change here. Pretty good consistency in both the strength and the location of where the storms on Thursday could develop. Doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to have anything. It's just that this high-res model and others, to be honest with you, not showing a whole lot now. The Ace Triple R has yet to go out through Thursday afternoon. That's why I wanted to take a look at it. Let me see how far it's going out now. And I will, let's see, it is up to hour 40. So we're getting close. And it's starting to show. That's only up to 10 o'clock in the morning. So we got a ways to go. A little bit of activity over the northern parts of the Arctic. It looks like the main focus will be, since that front's going to ease to the north, everything kind of lifts to the north too. So that's what that is showing. Now, as far as the rotation aspect of things, this looks better. Notice no of these swaths, none of them showing up in the Arctic. We'll have to keep an eye on areas up towards Hope, maybe Nashville, Prescott, Magnolia, and of course Betty there in Union County. You may have a better chance than we do in our area. And also notice the stronger swaths here on Thursday up towards Memphis yet again. So that's what the tornado aspect looks. And really there's nothing as far as hail indicated with futurecast, which is why I didn't show it. I'm going to show you the 2-day rainfall potential. This takes us through Thursday night, and this kind of, when you look at this, you can look at the rainfall totals, but again, stronger storms tend to produce more rain. So if you see heavier rain, that means that area either A, experience a stronger storm, or B, experience more storms. Could happen both ways. But you can see that swath basically from about Carthage to Shreveport up towards Magnolia of 1 to over 2 inches possible through Thursday. All right, so that's what it looks like there in the next couple of days. Let's go longer range, and we do have a slight risk for, I believe, all of the area for Friday and Saturday. So let's take a look at the longer range version of Futurecast. And again, this is low res data, so not the details that you see with the high res version. But you can see we could start to see some thunderstorms develop north early in the morning, and you can see the main focus western and northern sections of the area during the afternoon on Friday. And again, these storms will pose that risk of the usual. All three will be possible with Friday's storms, and then kind of lifts off to the north. And then Saturday, I believe that's as far out as this goes, unfortunately. All right, so that's what it looks like in terms of Thursday or Friday storms, and Futurecast doesn't go out far enough to see Saturday. I do think we're going to see a band of storms Saturday cover the entire area, and that's when places like Center, Mansfield, Natchitoches, Manny probably get the heaviest rain during this 4-day span. All right, so that's, if you live down in that part of the area, that's probably going to be your worst day as far as the bad weather. It looks like hour 42 now on the HR. We got to get to 48 to get to 7 o'clock, which is what I want to look at. And so let me look at the comments, see if we got any other questions here. Janice, I kind of touched on that, so you probably already saw the answer. You are in an area where there is that risk for, probably amongst the highest risk for severe weather tomorrow and possibly Thursday. Anywhere northeastern edge of the area next 2 days has the biggest chance. All three usual severe weather aspects are threats. Don't see any issues for Houston. Maybe Saturday, Matt. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It's going to be well north of you. Kaylee, here tomorrow in Shreveport, we'll have to keep an eye on the last half of the afternoon for the line as it develops. Some of the high-res models, as you just saw, and I'll show you the Ace Triple R when it's done coming in, do show, again, the potential for some rotating storms here during the late afternoon. Mary, if the high-res models are correct, the risk is going to be highest to your east tomorrow and Thursday. All right, so let's move on to the flooding issues. And we'll just start with the 7-day total and kind of compare things. These numbers have come down a bit from yesterday, which has been the trend in the model blend too. You'll see that here in a second. Looks like around 5 inches in Texarkana, actually close to 7 in DeQueen. Notice southern part of the area, 1.5 to 3 inches of rainfall anticipated. We're not going to have any flooding issues East Texas, Northwest Louisiana, but obviously there is some threat for the extreme northern sections of the area. You can see Idabel, Prescott, DeQueen, all three locations, 6 to 7 inches, and you can see the blend also shows those lighter amounts over the southern part of the area. Now, just to kind of show you the model differences here, now this is the morning run of all these global models with, again, the afternoon run of the model blend. And I left this big ominous green bar there on purpose, okay, to make a point, is that the European model is kicking out even higher totals. So even though the blended model shows, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain, northern part of the area, some of the models indicating a few spots could get more. The European showing over 11 inches in Texarkana. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen there. It just means it's possible somewhere. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But it's something to keep an eye on as a possible worst-case scenario. And you can clearly see the differences between Shreveport, Natchitoches, and the heavier rain totals that are up in Texarkana. The most aggressive model with the rain is the European model, and it's most aggressive in DeQueen. So here's a day-by-day breakdown for DeQueen. And again, if we're going to have any flooding issues, that would be the area where it would occur, that part of the Arklatex, not necessarily just DeQueen. But you can see almost an inch tomorrow, almost 3 inches Thursday, over 2 inches Friday, and an inch and 2/3 on Saturday. And obviously that means a lot of rain. So again, the flood risk probably begins Thursday, and it gets easier to produce the flood issues on Thursday and Friday because the ground is more saturated. So that's the point I wanted to make with this graphic for you folks watching in the northern part of the Arklatex flooding. Again, in those areas we do have the flood watch, which is in effect. All right, so that's what's on the way here. Bailey, New Boston, again, that line that I showed, if you missed it when I went through, if you would have saw earlier, you would have seen that the storms tomorrow, probably to your east, is where they'll be worse. You'll have to keep an eye on Thursday, as Futurecast kind of painting a nice picture for us Thursday, maybe avoiding severe weather, but other models not. That's why I want to take a look at the H-Triple-R. Let me see where we are on that. It looks like we're just about done, up to hour 46. So far, not too bad for Thursday. So I'll show you that as soon as it gets done. So let me go through the temperatures here, and this really hasn't changed much since yesterday. We stay warm, and notice the nighttime lows. These are European ensembles, low 70s. It tells you it's going to be very humid, hence the high rainfall potential. Upper 80s is what the European ensemble is kicking out. The front moves through Saturday, 3 days of 60s, and then we warm back up to the low 80s by the middle of the month. This is 2 weeks worth of temperatures. Lows will dip into the 40s next week, and then warm back up into the 50s and low 60s thereafter. So if you're trying to warm up the pool, bad news for you early next week. That process will get halted next week early. You can see the warmth. Same thing with the GFS ensembles, not quite as warm. Good agreement on the cool down, and then you can see back up into the 80s by next weekend. So, and the good news is once we get past Saturday, we're looking at a good solid week of no rainfall here in the Arklatex, which after this week is going to be good news, especially for you folks in the northern parts of the Arklatex. All right, so this is going to show you the forecast. The H-Triple-R is up to hour 47, and I think it's done enough to where I can show it to you. And again, I show it to you this way because this data just coming in is not in my system yet. So let's play tomorrow, and you can see the thunderstorms. For those that ask those questions, here might be a good answer. Notice where the storms develop, pretty close to where Futurecast, I-20 close to Shreveport, and then they track towards the north and east. So it's that same area that I pointed out. I-20, east-west, the Arkansas-Louisiana line, north-south. In this box here, that's probably where the severe weather risk will be highest tomorrow. We'll take a break tomorrow night, and then Thursday, you can see the storms develop more north, especially the stronger storms up in west central Arkansas. Might have to watch the northern edge of the area Thursday afternoon, and this is the complete run. Now this right here is concerning. This may be something we have to watch for Thursday evening to see where those go. Let's take a look at the severe weather rotation aspect of things here with the H-Triple-R, and I'm going to do this hourly by hourly. So you can see, right, 20, you can see the increase, there we go, hourly. Again, east and northeastern parts of the Arklatex. Good agreement with what Futurecast was showing. And then, let's see here. Again, we're going to have to watch the northern part of the area, maybe northwest part of the region Thursday evening. So that is something that Futurecast has not picked up on, and maybe a little bit different. If you watched when I talked about Thursday, Futurecast really didn't show anything. Some of the other high-res models do show some stuff firing up out here in northeast Texas over the northwest half of the area Thursday evening. So that might be a cause for trouble for Thursday evening. So that's the latest on that. That being said, I'm running short on time, so let me go through the forecast here. As tonight, going to stay kind of warm, a little bit of rain northwest late. Lows will mainly be in the 60s and low 70s. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, again, northeast quarter of the Arkansas, Texas, where they will be most numerous and strongest, and where the severe weather risk, as of right now, looks to be as if it may be highest. We'll see highs, most locations in the low to middle 80s. We will stay in the 80s through Friday. And you can see Saturday, as of right now, I have 78. That very well could go up some in the coming days. And you can see 100% Saturday. It's going, all models saying it's going to rain. So why not just say it's going to rain, right? Friday, some of the models kind of keeping everything north. And again, these percentages are for Shreveport. So up north to Queen, especially northwest part of the area, that 30% is going to be higher. And you can see the good news next week. We start off in the 60s, lows in the 40s, back up close to 80 by next Friday. All right, 51 is the time. Let's see if I got everybody. All right, so that is pretty much my time for tonight. Obviously, with severe weather, no humorous attempt tonight. So for those who tune in regularly, you know what I'm talking about. I'll be back tomorrow night with another live update on what to expect here across the Arkansas, and of course, unless we're on the air with tornado warnings. So I'll have another update tomorrow evening and give you the latest on what's happening at that time. And if you're watching on Facebook, be aware that it may be at a different time tomorrow night. So we'll play that by ear, maybe a little bit earlier. So we'll see. Well, that will do it for me tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Until then, have a great Wednesday. Stay dry and be safe. Good night.